Hello people, welcome back to my YouTube channel Lim Stitches. Thank you for all the love and support you've been showing this channel. So today I'll be showing you how I made this short kaftan dress with built up neckline. So make sure to watch to the end. So I'll be using 2 yards of this beautiful Ankara print and then 1 yard for the black material I used for the neck part and the pocket. So the first thing I'm going to do is to fold my fabric into 2 right side facing each other. Then I'll fold it into 2 again in order to have 4 folds just like this. Then I'm going to draw my baseline, just a straight line at the top part of my fabric. That will work as my baseline. And from that line, I will mark my gown full length. I just came up from my knee by a few inches. That was my gown full length. I don't want it to be too short and I don't want it to be too long. And that was what I marked for my gown full length. Next, I'm going to mark my horizontal measurement, but make sure that while cutting this, that you have 4 folds just like this. Since I'm cutting both the front and the back piece together at the same time, with just different neckline for the 2 pieces. So the first thing I'm going to mark is my neck width, which is 3 inches. Then I'll mark my shoulder measurement divided by 2, which is 8.5 inches. Then I'm going to mark from the shoulder point. I'm going to mark my sleeve length. I just stick to the end of my fabric because I'm working with little fabric here. And from that point, I came down by 1 inch. Then from that new 1 inch point, I'll mark my sleeve round, which is I'm working with 10 inches here. I'm going to mark that. Then from that point, I'll come in by 0.5 inch and I will join that point to the top part of my sleeve with a straight ruler, just like this. I will be using my hip measurement to shape the dress all the way down to the hem. So I will mark my hip measurement here, hip measurement divided by 4 actually. Then I'll mark 2 inches for freeness and then 1 inch for sewing allowance. I'll do the same thing all the way down to the hem. And since I need just the last point, I'll join those points with a straight ruler just like this. Then from this sleeve end, I will come in by 2 inches and I'll make a curve just like this to meet with the line I just drew, the last line. So as you can see, I realized that the 2 inch I marked earlier wasn't enough for what I wanted to do. So I marked another 1 inch before I made my curve. It's just a freehand curve to add more shape to my dress. I made a freehand curve to join to the line I drew earlier, just like this. Just something curvy to add more shape to your dress. Next, I'm going to mark the neck measurement for my back piece. So from the baseline, I'll come down by 1 inch as the neck depth, and I'm going to join it with a curve ruler to the neck width, which is 3 inches that we drew earlier, to create my neck curve. Then I'll cut out the whole piece just like this before I mark the neck measurement for the front piece. But before that, I realized I didn't make my shoulder slant, so I drew a straight line from the neck point to the sleeve end just like this before I cut it out. To work on the front piece alone, I will first separate the back piece from the front piece. Then from the center part of the front piece, I will come in by 2 inches all the way down to the hem. Then I will join that with a straight line, but getting to the neck part, I will use a curve ruler to join it to the 3 inches neck width that we have. And this is what I have. But before I cut it out, I'll mark half an inch, which will serve as the sewing allowance along this line all the way down to the hem before I cut it out. And this will be also serve as our neckline for the front piece. And this is what it looks like when I open it up to the front side. Then the next thing I'm going to do is to cut out the lining or interfacing for this my kaftan dress. And I'm using the Ankara piece I cut earlier, that's the main fabric, as my template. But before I cut it out, I will come up from the hem by 2 inches. This is to ensure that my lining is not showing from the down part, and I'm going to start my cutting from there. But I'll also add 0.5 inch sewing allowance before I cut it out, and every other thing is the same. And I will do the same thing for both the back and the front two pieces. Then to start sewing, I'll place my fabric right side facing each other with the interfacing, and I will first sew down the 0.5 inch sewing allowance I left at the hem. Always remember to iron down your stitches. Then I'm going to flip it to the right side and align the remaining parts of the piece to the lining, and I'm going to stitch all the way round with just 1/4 inch sewing allowance. I have already done the same thing for the front piece, so this is what it should look like after I'm done. Then the next thing I'm going to do is to align my both the front and back piece together, right side facing each other, and I will sew down the shoulders with 1/2 inch sewing allowance. Then for the sleeve, I have a turn up for the sleeve, and it's 3 inches wide folded into two and a length of 20 inches, which is just the sleeve round. Then I made a notch at the center of the turn up, and to attach it to the sleeve, I will align the notched end to the center of the sleeve, which is also the joint end of the shoulder, just like this. And I'm going to stitch it down with 1/2 inch sewing allowance, so that when I flip it over, it's going to be a turn up for the sleeve. And this is what I have after sewing it down. I'll also iron it down carefully so that it will look neat. Then the next thing I'm going to do is to align the front and back piece together, right side facing each other, just like this. And I will shape down the sides with 1 inch sewing allowance. I will also measure the open center all the way around, which is what I'm going to use to cut out as the length I'm going to cut out for this my black piece. And also the width of this my black piece will be 3 inches, that is 2 inches, then 1 inch sewing allowance, that's 1/2 inch for both sides of the front piece. Then I'll open up the 3 inches just like this, and I'll also fold the length into two so that the close end will be the center of my neckline. And then from that center, I'll come down by 15 inches. I made it 15 inches so that I will make sure that my head can pass through the neckline. Then from that 15 inches mark, I'll sew it down at the center, just all the way down to the end. But before I sew it down, I decided to add hemming gum to this neckline, and this is what I have after sewing it down. Then to attach it to my main dress, I made a notch at the center of the neckline, just like this, and then I aligned it with the center of my neckline all the way down. Then I sew it down. And for the pockets, I used the same fabric I used for the neckline. I measured a width of 8 inches and a length of 9 inches, and I'll fold in 1/2 inch all the way around, except for the top part where I fold in 1 inch along the length side. Then to attach it to my dress, I come down from the shoulder by 19 inches and come in from the center of my dress by 4 inches, and that is where I'm going to start to attach the pocket. I will make a more detailed video on how to cut and sew a front pocket, and this is what our gown looks after attaching everything. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please remember to like and subscribe to these channels for more educating videos like this. See you on the next one.